Let's talk about something that's pretty much every homeowner's worst nightmare: a burst pipe, a flooded basement. That awful sinking feeling you get when you see water where it absolutely should not be. It's a sudden, chaotic mess. But what happens after that initial shock is what really decides the fate of your home.
So, when you're standing there looking at all that water, you probably think, that's the biggest problem, right? The puddle on the floor. But what if I told you the most dangerous part of water damage is something you can't even see? So, what is the real enemy here?
That's it, right there. It's the hidden moisture, the water that's already soaked deep into your drywall, that's seeped under the hardwood floors and gotten trapped inside the wall cavities. This is where the real battle begins.
So, how does a problem like this even start? Well, it's not always some huge, dramatic storm. A lot of the time, the most common causes are kind of just lurking right inside our homes, waiting to happen.
I mean, think about it. Your sump pump could sail during a big storm, especially in areas with that heavy clay soil, like in Silver Spring, Maryland, where the water just has nowhere else to go. Or a pipe could burst during a deep freeze in the winter. It could even be a slow, sneaky leak from your dishwasher or a clogged sewer line that decides to back up. It's these everyday things that can suddenly turn into a massive water crisis. And here's what you absolutely have to understand. Once water is loose in your home, you are in a race against time. Every single minute that goes by lets the damage spread and get worse. Just waiting and seeing, it's not an option. And just look at how fast this all snowballs. Within minutes, all the porous stuff is just saturated. But that 24-hour mark, that's the real tipping point, because that's when all the dormant mold spores, which, by the way, are literally everywhere all the time, get the signal to wake up and start growing. By 48 hours, especially if it's humid, you can often see it and you can definitely smell it. After a week, you're not just dealing with water anymore. Now you're facing potential structural rot and some really serious health risks. And this is exactly why you have to become a detective. You've got to look for the clues. That musty smell in the basement isn't just an old house smell. Peeling paint, warped floors, that little water stain on the ceiling, these are not just small cosmetic issues. They're basically distress signals telling you that hidden moisture is at work, quietly causing a ton of damage behind the scenes. Okay, I know, that all sounds pretty scary, but here's the good news. This is where we pivot from chaos to control. When you're facing a water emergency, there's a proven, methodical process that professionals use to take back your home from the brink. It really all boils down to these 3 phases. First up, the emergency response. Stop the leak and get the standing water out, fast. Second, you've got the scientific part, controlled drying, to get rid of all that hidden moisture we've been talking about. And finally, restoration, rebuilding and making it all look like it never even happened. It's a journey from panic to peace of mind. And this brings us to the really fascinating part, the science of drying. This isn't just about pointing a few fans at a wet spot and hoping for the best. No way. It's a highly technical process that combines specialized knowledge, precise measurements, and some really powerful technology. And all that science is governed by serious standards, like the IICRC certification. Now, this isn't just some fancy acronym. It means that the technicians who show up actually know the science of psychrometry, which is a cool way of saying they understand how air, temperature, and moisture all interact. They follow proven protocols to make sure your home is truly, scientifically, dry and safe.
Now, this is absolutely crucial. Not all water is the same. The first thing a pro does is classify it. Category 1 is clean water, say from a broken water supply line. Low risk. Category 2 is gray water, which might come from a dishwasher and could have some bacteria. But Category 3, black water, that's the really dangerous stuff. We're talking sewage, river flooding. It's seriously hazardous. And that category determines everything, from the safety gear the crew needs to what can actually be saved. And here's maybe the biggest takeaway from this whole process. There's no guesswork. A professional is not going to just feel a wall and say, yeah, it seems dry. They use precise tools to know for sure.
And to do that, they'd bring in some serious hardware. We're talking industrial pumps that can move thousands of gallons of water. But check out the high-tech stuff. Moisture meters can test saturation levels deep inside materials. And infrared cameras, these are a total game changer. They let technicians literally see the temperature differences caused by hidden moisture inside your walls. It's like having X-ray vision for water. So all of this science, all this amazing technology, it all serves one single really important goal: bringing your home, your sanctuary, back to the way it was, safe and sound.
I love this because it perfectly sums up the whole commitment. The equipment doesn't get packed up just because things look dry. It leaves only when the scientific data, the readings from those moisture meters, proves that the structure is back to normal. That is the only true definition of done.
So, now you understand the whole process of recovery. But this brings us to one final critical question. In a sudden pipe burst, being able to stop the flow of water in just a few seconds can be the difference between a small cleanup and a catastrophic flood. So I'll just leave you with this. Do you know right now exactly where your home's main water shutoff valve is? And could you turn it off in a panic?